Welcome to August 10th. Oh my gosh, this is going to go down in history as the most time trying to get online. Hope you all are doing well. Thank you so much for being patient, being here. I already have 22 thumbs up, 28 people here. Amanda is with me, but she is not feeling well today. So that's just part of the technical difficulties, is me thinking I would know how to go live. Long story short, I'm back on my phone. Turns out the camera on my computer has not been synchronized with this computer because I got a new one. Anyways, glad you're here today. Thank you for joining us. CSR, I saw is on. I'm getting ready to pop up the comments so I can see everybody say hi, but CSR has a birthday tomorrow, so we're gonna give a great shout out to CSR. And I guess Friday when we go live, are we gonna be able to go live Friday? We're not anywhere, right? Yeah. When we go live Friday, we'll have to have like some kind of happy birthday of some kind for CSR. So I guess at that point it'll be a little belated. But boy, so much going on right now. A lot of negotiations, a lot in limbo. But I'm going to put you on the stand here. And one of the things I was going to mention to you is that we are considering putting together something periodically where we're going to do a Zoom meeting. And we'll send out an invite on the Zoom for those that would like to be a part of a Zoom. That way you actually get to be on it. We actually will be able to have a little different kind of interaction. So if you'd like to be a part of the Zoom, we'll put you on our email list and then also put you on a special list called Zoom. So it doesn't require you to be in a special club. You don't have to pay for this or anything to that effect. So if you want to send us an email at jj@jjthecpa.com. You can also use the other one if you have it in your system, jj@jjthecpahelp.com. But in the regarding line, put Zoom. And I don't know when we're going to do it, but we will send an invite. There'll be some advance notice, and it'll be a way that maybe once we get, hopefully, some more stimulus. The Zoom package, why did I just call it a package? The Zoom, I guess, meeting, not at all won't be a cost, but the Zoom meeting would be a little bit more on the how-tos, where I can pull up a document. Let's say we have PPP2, and there's some requirements we got to walk through, so a Zoom meeting would allow me to walk through that in a different format, and then once we were done, I'll throw it up on YouTube. And then I see Gene already emailed us. And then same thing with the forgiveness, thinking about maybe having a Zoom or two, just being JJ the CPA, trying to be helpful. So we are limited to 100 participants in any given Zoom. So it will be something that's based on reservation. So, all right, well, let's see. I think I'm gonna position the phone this way, and Amanda being sick, I'm going solo, even though she's here on anything that I need. But anyway, so we've got Brandon David, so we will get to the questions. I don't know if anybody's repeated them. I'm gonna do my best to get to every question. We already have 72 people on. We've got 31 thumbs up. I really appreciate it, and thanks to everybody, especially those that help get this snowball running. But as of yesterday, we're at 37,000 subscribers. The only reason I'm even thinking of that is I caught when I logged in to tell you that I was on my way, I saw that somebody indicated that they want to see us get to 40,000 subscribers. So thank you for all the support. I really appreciate it. If you're just joining us, thank you for that. Please do subscribe. What I'm going to do is go through some questions live. I don't really have any true update. If you've watched my videos, you know kind of where we're at, but I'll touch on that. But anyway, so we've got Brandon David and Russell and Karen the CPA. Thank you so much. Yes, we are staying safe. And Tiberius and S. Phillips, David Rains, thank you so much. I really appreciate that. Thanks for the excellent videos. I'll circle back to the questions here. Valerie Clark, good to see you. And Carol is like the, what do you call that? Like the secret weapon. If for whatever reason we're unable to get to comments or not quick enough, Carol is usually in there providing some excellent help. Really appreciate that. Yes, Valerie, I showed up. Thank you for that. And Fred, how you doing? And Marissa, good to see you. And we've got Gina and Melanie, CSR, and Rob, how you doing? Rob, I didn't even realize that I had texted Rob today. He's part of the reality show season 1, and we were supposed to log in together at 3. And without even thinking, I just texted him. I said, hey, I got a fire to put out. I won't be able to make our call today. Sorry about that. And he texted back and he said something to the effect of, when there's a fire, you don't ask any questions, right? So anyways, if you've been watching my videos, you know, and Glenda's with us. Glenda's granddaughter, Leah, most likely is here too. Hello, hello. And Leah, if you've seen any of my videos, she is the superstar granddaughter who tells you now, get your PPP and your EIDL. So I am going to be coming to the questions. Don't worry yet on repeating. Usually if I get near the end, I will say if you typed a question and didn't get answered, let me know. So I am going to circle back to these. And Charlotte, how are you? Good to see you. And look forward to seeing you soon. Charlotte is a part of our this 12-week Academy School Boot Camp, JJ the CPA, 12-week year, whatever you want to call it. So really appreciate that, Charlotte. S. Phillips, and let's see, and Gina, and Running Texas, Stacy Fuller, how are you? And we've got Wayne, how are you? Wayne, good to see you. Wayne is also a part of what I've put together. We're full, but for the next 12 weeks, starting tonight, we're going to be doing a one-on-6 Zoom. I decided to break up the group between 4 that seem to come not really from the YouTube family, and then I've got 6 that are part of the YouTube family. So thank you for that. Thank you, Wayne. And we got God's Dozer. Good to see you. Oh my gosh, we were talking about you over the weekend. Thank you for joining us. Glad you got off early. Hope you're got your feet up. And let's see, and we've got Denisha. And oh goodness, CJ is here, and Bob and Greg and the Chris Law Show. Loving that. Cindy, Pedal Spin Studio. Cindy, haven't forgot about you. I've got your email. I know that we need to touch base. We will. We've got Joanne, and let's see, Bob Christopher and Gordon. I love it. I love it. And Gene McIntyre, CJ. We got Greg and Dawn and Humana 808. And Mike Fisher, how are you? Good to see you. Hope things are well out in California. Brian, thank you so much for that. And Benjamin, 406 Memories. CJ, yes, thank you for that. Amanda's probably following along. Amanda, are you? Oh, Amanda's like laying down. She's not even in earshot. Amanda, are you reading the comments? She says she's here. I know she's here and alive, but people are giving you well wishes.
I see them.
You can comment is what
I'm gonna comment
okay.
too. And happy birthday, Rob, and happy birthday, CSR.
That's water.
And some water.
You know Amanda's not feeling well when she's not helping.
And no, I don't have COVID. So everyone's worried about that.
Yeah. Not COVID. Tummy issues. So, all right. Well, hey, thanks so much for coming on. I'm going to get to the questions right after I just let you know that I'm sure you've caught the videos. My predictions are that we're going to get stimulus checks of the $1,200. The Secretary of Treasury seems to almost be guaranteeing these. So I think he's giving whoopings behind the scenes, and he will be getting his paddle out to also make sure that once Congress finally passes this portion of the stimulus, that they'll get out as soon as possible. In fact, I read this morning, thank you. We don't usually have a drinking game till Friday, but happy birthday will be our word today to CSR. But the Treasury Secretary said as soon as Congress passes this, we should be able to start sending out checks in a week. So we are almost to mid-August, which maybe we will get a little bit of relief before the end of the month. The $1,200 checks, that's per adult. Before they were $500. They've talked about making that where maybe the kids can be a little older and we get the $500. They're also talking about doing $1,200 a kid. So the part about the amount, I don't know, because it's all in the sausage making process right now. The president did sign, it turned out it was really one executive order and 3 presidential memorandums, but the president is not able to send out stimulus checks to that dollar amount. The unemployment that was a part of his executive order memorandum, that money is coming from the FEMA fund, which is related to disaster. And so here's something I've not said in my videos. Here's something that I've not put in my videos. Blue Line, how are you? Tony, how are you? Good to see you. What's not in my videos is this. I think that as we go through this next phase, then they're going to start following relief and rules and procedures on other disasters. So we all know that disasters have occurred in the U.S. I mean, that's an obvious, right? But normally the disasters are for physical, tornado, hurricane, drought, things to that effect. So there already is a lot of procedures in play. And what I've been predicting for the last couple of months as it relates to certain aspects of maybe how they being the IRS, will treat penalties and interest, or how the EIDL will play out. I'm looking at how the government interacts with the public at large when there's an actual disaster that's declared by the president. So one of the things that I find interesting, and I don't know why it hasn't occurred, but when a president declares something a presidentially declared disaster area, they actually declare that, and that's the title of it, that opens up all kinds of immediate aid. It also automatically offers relief in so many areas, from loans to rent to eviction to making tax payments and penalties and interest and filing deadlines. I think that might be something that will apply to the tax deadlines. Why am I saying that? If we also want to have a glimpse at what aid will come about, we can look to see how have they done it in the past, because I think we hit the pandemic. PPP was a new type of aid that was given out. The stimulus checks were not new. Those were things that have been done in the past. All the other type of relief, when you look at it, had been done similarly in the past. They did come up with the new tax credits that are related to this, but the concept of tax credits is not new, especially on payroll. The EIDL was not new. The EIDL advance, or the grant, was not new. What was new out of all of this was the PPP. So that's why I feel like the stimulus checks, the $1,200, I feel like that's going to happen. I think on the unemployment, I haven't put this in videos. I don't think I'll put it in videos because this is just prediction. I think that the PUA will be put back into play, make retroactive back to August 1. I think it probably will land around $400. It most likely will not be reliant on the state. Right now, what the president put into play is the $400, but 300 of it comes from the feds, actually FEMA, and then 100 of it comes to the state, which was more just a suggestion to the state. So I think it will land on $400 from the feds. And then on the PPP, I think that with the $138 billion that's being reported that's left, so that all closed on August 8th. So PPP 1.0 is done. But on the 138 billion that's left, the reason I think there will be another PPP or something very similar to that is that Congress already voted for that. Congress already decided here was a dollar amount to go into the economy. And here is how that is going to be paid out, which is the Paycheck Protection Program. The reason I think that we'll definitely see what's already been suggested is some qualifiers to it, is to ensure that those small businesses that probably fell through the cracks, number one, and didn't get as much as they needed, or number two, don't have the availability to either a line of credit or loans or investor dollars. So I do feel like the PPP is really definitely going to be latched down tight to be something provided to that small business owner. I'm going to define the small business owner as what the employee retention credit defines a small business owner as, which is 100 employees or less. I've even seen, and I think there will be something that's set aside, maybe not special or different, but there'll definitely be a dollar amount set aside for businesses 100 or less. I also think there's going to be money set aside specifically to employers that have 25 or less employees. So that's good news for us small employers. I'm in that bucket, that there won't be the panic or the concern, hopefully, that it's going to run out in the matter of hours. I think the qualifier will be what I put in the videos, which is showing that there's been a decrease somehow in the revenue. However, on that 138 billion, if you think about it, everybody's had plenty of time to apply for it. So those that qualified before, hey, what's up, Clay? For those that qualified before, they got the funds. So I am indicating that 2.0, there'll be a qualify for it, but I really do think they're going to take the PPP and they are going to get a little more industry specific. And then this is where I'm doing this. This is where I'm crossing my fingers, is that they being Congress, will look at that PPP and not just base it only on payroll. A couple of reasons for that. There's many businesses that don't have a lot of payroll, starting with the real estate industry. There's other businesses that maybe don't have a lot of payroll because it's a one-owner business that's an S Corp, and they pay themselves some wages, but they're not paying everything to themselves in wages. Also, I think that the self-employed might, now hold on to what I'm getting ready to say, to what I'm going to say next. I think the self-employed may not be included in round 2 of PPP, but because for a better reason. I think it would actually make sense that if you're self-employed, you are getting a different kind, a higher level of PUA, the Pandemic Unemployment Assistance. And so from my perspective, the self-employed did not get as much PPP as they needed as a whole because it was based on the net income. When you think about it, so after all of the expenses, what did they net? Well, that was then determining the PPP. Well, in the schedule, on the Schedule C for self-employed, you have things like the home office and mileage, a number of expenses on there that aren't necessarily out-of-pocket outlays, but they're expenses for tax purposes. I think for the self-employed, making a cut and dry, easy to get to, not mandated by the states, direct help for the self-employed that's based on the gross income of 2019. Now, it might have a lower threshold for that. Maybe it wouldn't be 100 grand gross, but I think it needs to be based on the gross. I don't see that written anywhere. I don't see it being talked about anywhere, but that would be my hope if they're going to really get down to brass tacks and look at how to spread the PPP. I think it'll be for the small employer. I think the self-employed will get something that is not resembling what it was before, but aid. I think there'll be the $1,200. I think the unemployment will be the $400. There has been a lot of criticism So usually not until the criticism really starts to almost boil over. Unfortunately, that is then what sometimes Congress waits for before they act. So if you saw some videos over the weekend, I tried to hold back some of my frustration, but nonetheless, I'm hoping that this week they'll get down to brass tacks. But if I were to predict, and then I'll get to the questions, if I were to predict based on where things are today, that we would have something that everybody thinks they're close on by the end of the week, and then it'll be early next week when it gets signed, and the president will then sign off on it. And so we will be in the second half of August. Monies will start then being paid out. The states will get caught up. So I do really still feel like it's going to be the end of August, early September before we see any aid coming out. I do think that the EIDL will continue as is, which is up to $150,000 direct with the SBA. I think the grant will be put back into play, but it'll still be $1,000 per employee up to $10,000. I don't know if they'll go retroactive on that because it ran out a little while ago. So I don't know that they're going to go retroactive on that. I don't think that they will pay out more than $10,000 on the grant. I don't think they'll pay, or I should say, I don't think they're going to pay the flat $10,000 like they used to. All right, so let me get to the questions now. Okay, so again, if you're just joining us, thank you for that. Thank you for being here today. We're going to get through all of this. We got 54 thumbs up, so I appreciate the support. If you're on right now, I guess we got 136 of you. Hit the thumbs up. I'd love it if you subscribe. If you're throwing a question down, I would ask that you be a subscriber. We do this every Monday and Friday. We were going to do it Friday. Something came up, so we were not able to do that. And as this new relief comes out, I anticipate that I'll go live a little more often. And then I will indicate this. If you want to have a conversation with me, you can go and schedule that at jjthecpa.com, jjthecpa.com. There is a fee to it. My fee is exactly based on what I charge my clients, but you can go to the website, click, find a time, and sign up for that if you have something that is detailed. So I'm gonna go through these questions. I'm gonna answer them. It's for informational purposes, and let's get rolling. So the first one that was here, boom, Brandon David. First question. I'm sure you've answered this before, but if you're a 1099 worker, can you use IDL to pay for the work car payment, or can you only pay a certain amount? Also, thanks for all you do. Thank you, Brandon. Hey, great question on that, because usually I'm hearing it with a different twist. But yes, you can make it, you can use your EIDL or the grant to make your car payment in full, whether that's a lease or a purchase. You are able to pay not only the principal, but the interest. What they wouldn't want you to do is pay it off. That's usually what the question is. And what they won't let you do is go buy a new car. So Brandon, a lot of times that's the question that we hear. And I'll expand that to say that the EIDL, while it doesn't allow you to pay off a loan, as in I owe 50 grand, we go pay 50 grand down, or if you just owe, $5 grand on a credit card, doesn't allow you to just, go pay 5 grand. It does allow you to make any kind of business loan payment. So if you have a line of credit, the interest that's due, you can use your EIDL. If you have a credit card, and I feel comfortable and confident in saying this, if you have a credit card and you can go through line by line and go business expense, business expense, business expense, business expense, and it totals $5,162. I believe you can use the EIDL to send a payment of $5,162. So if you have prior purchases that are sitting on the credit card, for business, if you're using your credit card, right, to go buy office supplies, well, when it comes due next month, you can use your EIDL funds to pay for that office supplies by paying the credit card. So great question on that. We got Russell, the inability to correct a Schedule C submitted for PPP loan that was already paid. The system will not allow a lender to submit new docs, and the SBA refers me to the lenders. Okay, so maybe what you're saying there, Russell, is that you had a Schedule C, you submitted it, it changed, so you're trying to resubmit it to be able to get a new amount of PPP. I do think the SBA did come out and kind of made it you get one time and one shot to apply, but they did make some exceptions for partnerships. So anyways, I know that it ran out on the 8th. Snowbird Bob, what's up? I know it not ran out. It ended on the 8th. So if you are still fighting for this and with your lender, then you need to get with your lender. So if I'm understanding your question. And Karen, good to see you. Hope you're doing well. Hope you're feeling rested, fellow CPA. After maybe, 3 weeks past, I have to keep reminding myself that it's not May 1st or not May 10th, right? I still, my body thinks we're in May because July 15th was my April 15th, but nonetheless. All right, Tiberius, wife and I own an LLC 50-50 with no employees. We both filed for PUA and received PPP concurrently, and we have zero income. We want to pay back the PPP, not seek forgiveness. Can we apply for the second PPP? So first thing, Tiberius, you will want to fill out a loan forgiveness application. You may already know that. Just fill out the EZ, fill out the top. You'll still put in there a covered period, all that good stuff. And you'll still put what your loan is. You'll put a 0 down for everything else, which then will show your loan forgiveness is 0. You'll hand that in. So the lender will need that. The SBA then has to process it because behind the scenes, the banks have to do all that stuff. And then if you got the loan before June 5th, you'll pay it back over 2 years. If you got the loan June 5th or after, you'll pay it back over 5 years. And with the FAQs, I did a video on this last week. You probably saw it, but on the FAQs that the SBA came out with, I believe on the 7th, the SBA made it clear that your payments don't begin until the SBA rules on your forgiveness amount. So once the SBA goes, here's the amount that is not forgiven, then that's when your payments begin. But the thing to note is that interest is accrued all the way back to when the loan is dispersed. So as soon as the loan's dispersed, interest starts to accrue, and then you owe only the interest, though, on the portion of the PPP that's not forgiven. So kind of a couple of things to note there. One, you can sure wait a long time. I mean, 24 weeks plus 10 months. Of course, there'll be interest all along the way, but for somebody, and I don't mean you, Russell, or I'm sorry, Tiberius. I don't mean you, but for some of those that they don't really have the money to start making payments yet, there's not anything wrong with waiting. I think that's kind of even the point of why they are allowing it. So Tiberius, I don't know on the second PPP, so the one that's getting ready to be signed. On the PPP though, if you have wages, okay, that's what it was based on. If you are filing a Schedule C, which I'm guessing you filed, there might be some differences there for you. So stay tuned for that. Okay, and then, okay. Yeah, if you had COVID, I don't know if you meant you had COVID, but hopefully you and your wife are doing well, Tiberius. All right, S. Phillips, I've never met someone so passionate about their profession and helping others as Joshua Jensen. JJ, could you imagine what the world would be like if others did the same? Well, thank you, S. Phillips. I really appreciate that. Very nice comment. I started reading it because I thought you had a question, but thank you for that. We got David Rains. What's up? Hey, JJ, thanks for the excellent videos. Thank you for watching. Do you know if the family attribution rules apply for forgiveness limitations on S-Corp owner wages? It seems clear that it does for health insurance. On the wages, I thought for sure, David, that they were going to be doing that. but it does not appear in any way, shape, or form that it does. You are right on the health insurance, and the reason that we're seeing the family attribution, meaning they're saying, okay, well, for the S Corp owner, whatever that was on the health insurance, the reason that they're making that clear for the S Corp owner is that all of that health insurance should be included in the shareholders' wages. So that is why there's that discussion related to the family members, because of how health insurance gets reported on that. So I appreciate that. And long story short, no, I don't see any family attribution to come down the pike either as it relates to the wages that get to be included. All right, Karen, fellow CPA, non-owner employee paid weekly. Does the salary have to be $1,923.08 a week, over $100,000? Can we give extra as long as they do not surpass the maximum $46,154, even if the covered period is less than the 24 week? So what an excellent question. What an excellent question from Karen. So what Karen's pointing out here is that you have a covered period and they may elect to do less than 24 weeks, meaning you have a covered period of 24 weeks, but they hand in the forgiveness amount before the 24 weeks is up, which you're allowed to do. So then it would only be the payroll costs that are included with that. So Karen, great question. So this is off the cuff, but my thought process is that, and I've got my 10 key over here. My thought process is, to that extent, the $1,923.08, that on the one hand, yes, I think that there is a technical limitation to that a week. That'd just be my personal. I've not seen any examples to it in anything that the SBA's put out about it. But when you just look at how they calculate that 46,154, it's because it's 24 weeks. So it's taking that 100,000 divided by 52 times 24, it's a 46,000. So on the one hand, I think that it is limited to 1923.08. But here's what's interesting is that in those FAQs, the SBA did make it clear that, I thought at least, non-owners, commissions and tips, lost wages, lost commissions, lost tips, bonuses, in addition to regular salary, can be included. I felt like they really made that clear. They kind of just said, whatever the compensation is, you're going to be able to include it. So I think if there's reasonable cause on why it's more than 1,923.08, or more that it's not more than 46,000 in total. So if you have someone, they make 100 grand plus they got bonuses, and so technically if they're at 18 weeks, and you take 18 weeks times 1923 plus they got some bonuses and all that. So good question on that. I think if you've got somebody that is, because you're saying it's a non-owner, I think if you've got somebody that the employee last year made 20 grand and this year they're making 100 grand, as long as there's a reason for that, I think that it probably would work. So if you're comfortable with it, Karen, I bet I'd be comfortable with it. So I think if you're thinking you have a unique, not an opportunity, but you have a unique situation where somebody's going to have to include it, but you know as well as I do, if it's more, well, let's just accelerate and pay somebody and then include it, I don't know if that would fly. It may. I tell you what, I think the SBA has done a good job trying to come up with as many examples as they can. And I think if they were looking at it at 1,000-foot view, they'd be more concerned with the 46,154 than I think they would care about the 1923. So at the end of the day, all of everything that I just said was all off the cuff. Good question. Just thinking it through, talking out loud. I think the number one thing is that it obviously is not more than 46,154. I think if there's reasonable cause of of why you've included more than 1923.08 a week, then I probably would think you'd be fine on that, especially if it's just somebody that wants to get in their forgiveness application and they just need that salary in there. I don't think you get to include future wages that haven't been paid, of course, even if you know they're gonna be paid. Now, the reason I say that is the SBA did indicate that once you hand in your application, your requirements are done at that point. So I also see that on the other side of the coin, that you wouldn't be able to include any future expenses. I'm not saying that you are, but even if we came down to technicality and it was in the covered period, I think once you hand it in, you're done, you're complete, you get to include what it is that you provided at that time. So Valerie Clark is going through JJ withdrawals. You're very kind. I really, really appreciate that. And thank you for that as well, Carol. And let's see, Fred. Hi, JJ and Amanda. Hope you're doing well. Let's see. I wish you could eradicate the virus. Yes. Now the college football fall season is in deep trouble. The Big Ten canceled the fall season. Yes, I had heard that from a client. I think that I've got a video that actually I'm realizing I haven't released it yet because I've just been doing these little snippets everywhere I am to kind of put it together, and then Amanda wasn't feeling well today. But this video is all about kind of looking around your hometown, your environment, the things that are going on within a mile of you, 2 miles of you, to kind of maybe predict what and if there's going to be any kind of financial effect to you. So on the one hand, we've got, football canceling out, which think of all the ripple that provides, not only for the people that work the games, security or in the concession stand, but all the money that then is paid and earned from TV rights and advertising and commercials and all those kind of things. And so whatever industry you're in, it's not just that, I'm not going to be affected by football other than I'm disappointed it's canceled. But it's looking at what else is happening, because we're seeing this ripple effect. Probably high schools might be the next, they're saying, to just not have a season for the fall and anything. I think the virtual schooling is going to have a major effect on things. Amanda was telling me today that there's a school here. They already went back in 2 days. They have whole schools now virtual because there were so many COVID outbreaks or testing as a positive right away. So much to come on that. Marissa, group insurance dated 9/1, covered period ends 9/11. The insurance period is 9/1 to 9/30. Will this forgivable or should I prorate the cost? Reading the FAQ 8420. Love it, Marissa. So here's how I'm reading it, is that when they gave the examples of payroll and then the non-payroll cost, they seem to very clearly indicate that if something's on the front side of a covered period, meaning it incurred before the covered period but paid during the covered period, you get to include it. Obviously, if it was paid and incurred, meaning both things during, you're in. But once you get to the end of the covered period, only the portion up to the end of the covered period will be able to be included. So anything that was incurred after and then paid with that regular bill. So to your example there, but I think that they would want you to, if I'm reading this, group insurance dated 9/1, covered period ends 9/11. The period is 9/1 through 9/30. So my thinking on that would be you'd only be able to include 9/1 through 9/11. And then make sure, though, that if you were at 9/11 for the covered period, I don't know if that's your 24 weeks, I'm going to guess it probably is, but then make sure at the beginning of the covered period, you don't have to prorate anything that was paid at the beginning of the covered period, even if incurred before. So great question on that. I really appreciate that. Valerie thinks the SEC is going to get canceled next. I hope that Big 12, for whatever reason, doesn't have a COVID problem in the Big 12, and therefore we don't have to cancel. Of course, I'm winking there. Gina, I'm in my basement, tornado warning. What? A little extra excitement to go with JJ's enthusiasm. My gosh, Gina, well, I hope you're doing okay. You know, we are in the tornado alley ourselves, so I know how you feel. I don't know, you don't have to tell me where you're at, but you know, with tornadoes nowadays, if you're not in the world of a tornado, you know, they can predict that thing, and then as it hits the ground, they know exactly where it's at, pinpointed, and they can usually somewhat predict a path, and they have, you know, the warning, and they have degrees of knowing when it's going to come. Anyways, the reason I say that is that the weatherman that really invented all of that, the Doppler, et cetera, is a client of mine. Anyway, so he has since retired. And so when we have tornadoes, he still has a lot of equipment at his house. So if it's really bad, I've got the inside scoop. I will text Gary and say, hey, do I really need to be worried, or is everybody on TV worried? But if you're in your basement, be safe. Gary England used to say, you know, do just that. So if you're in a basement, probably not in Oklahoma because we don't have basements around here. But anyways, hopefully you're safe there. Let's see, Melanie, I had an employee leave this week, week 14 of PPP. If my dollar lines up, which it should, I'd rather end the covered period here so FTEs won't lower. Can I do that? Yes, Melanie, and I hope that that situation was okay with your employee leaving. But yeah, once you put in your forgiveness application, your requirements end. That's according to the SBA. So yeah, if you got your numbers in play, go ahead and get that application in for forgiveness on that. Let's see. So Fred's worried about the Power 5 conferences. And I'm not at all saying that Fred's someone that bets on games, but even think of that industry, like how much affected the betting industry is even affected by this. All right. Oh yeah, goodness. Yeah. CSR, good point. Happy birthday, by the way, to CSR. We're hours away from his birthday, which is tomorrow. Happy birthday. But I am for saving your EIDL because there's no time frame to spend it. So great planning there. And yes, Melanie, thank you for that. I really appreciate that. And let's see. Yes, it's going to kill the University of Tennessee because that's my main source. And then Rob, hello. And let's see, Glenda, hope Leah's doing well, your granddaughter. And S. Phillips, thank you so much. We have to have 40,000 subscribers by 8/15/2020. I love that. Thank you so much for the support. And let's see, Stacy was getting a question answered from Karen. So Karen, thank you for that. Fred, Carol, and CSR, Carol agrees that reality is smart. So I like that. And let's see, want to make sure that we're getting here. And so Karen was talking through that because I'm going all the way back to the beginning here. Let's see. Gina's saying allowing time for a potty break. I love it. I love it. Let's see. Don't get a speeding ticket, JJ. I appreciate that. Run in Texas. Love the coach video the other day. No charity being ran here. Good deal. I appreciate that. And you know, I did this video. And some of the videos I do, I really do them for you guys in the sense of those that know me. And you probably saw at the beginning of that, as I'm getting more subscribers, which I really appreciate, you all are the foundation and the rock of this. You can tell at the beginning, because I said, hey, if you haven't seen my videos before, don't judge me on this one alone. Because people don't know what to make of Coach, I think, sometimes. But anyway, so thanks for watching on that. And let's see, got questions here. Rob, it's his birthday today. Well, shoot, I'm sorry that I didn't get to get you on the phone. Happy birthday, double now, Rob with Imagine That Toys up in Wichita, Kansas. Happy birthday to you. And Rob and his company that he owns along with Gwen. Gwen started the company 13, 14 years ago with her husband, Al, and then they were doing so well. Rob decided to retire and moved down with his wife, Paula, Gwen's mom, and they're now part of that business. Quite neat. So if you haven't checked out the reality series, we wrapped up season 1, and we've got a playlist for the reality series. And Amanda worked really hard on each episode, and thanks for being a part of all that, Rob, and look forward to wrapping things up. Happy birthday to you. All right, we got Chris K in Cincinnati, Ohio. Thank you. And Greg and JK, what's going on? Patty B, happy Monday. Talked with the deputy director of SBA in St. Louis. Wow. Portal open, but some lenders struggling since new system for them. He said, give it a few days. Yeah, Patty B, you know, for me, I am telling my clients we're not going to put anything into the banks until next week at the earliest, kind of work out the kinks. A lot of banks haven't even taken application. Like they're saying, nope, you can't send it in yet. We're waiting for the portal to open. And so I think that there's going to be a mad rush this week. So since my clients, I think I don't have any clients that are going to have any haircuts, going to be the easy. Might as well just wait for the line to die down a little bit before we put in. So I'm waiting until next week. So, and then it's Goddozer's birthday. I'm sorry, it's his wife's birthday today. So happy birthday to Goddozer's wife. Amanda, did you see that? Okay, Amanda says happy birthday too. So happy birthday. I'm glad you got to get off early today for your wife's birthday. So wish her happy birthday. And we had, God's Dozer sent this to me a while ago. And so it sits proudly in my office. And so anyways, really appreciate that. And we have, look at this. This came from Rob, and then if you caught my last live, I was wearing the CSR t-shirt, and I still have the Hello Kitty as well as the baseball cards. I know we've been saving up a special box of stuff that we've been, not stuff, gifts that we've been given. Another one from Imagine That Toys. All right, let's see. Elizabeth, how are you? Okay, we talked about run in Texas. Yes, you can make it on a new car purchase, meaning the payments, you bet. And we've got Joanne Thompson. I'd go so far real quick, run in Texas, if you're still on. Any of the ongoing expenses of that vehicle, and I would believe it would include most likely any of those upfront costs that go along with the car purchase, just because that is an ongoing expense, of course, if it's for business. And Cindy, hope you're doing well. Pedal Spin Studio in California. They've got 5 locations. The governor basically did a wall up. I think they've been closed now 2 weeks again, the second time. So I know that they are waiting. Yes. Oh, it's already 5 o'clock. Okay, I will pay attention here. I'm going on at 6 with my YouTube group, the 12-week group, and so, but that's at 6, so we will be able to keep going here, and then I'll want to get off to pause and catch my breath. Chris Law, do you think PPP will open again? I do. You clearly were at the beginning of this, so I didn't know about your question, but I think I covered on that. But yes, I think we're good there. So what's the holdup on the stimulus checks? Someone please explain why they're getting paid and won't allow us to work. Yeah, I understand on that. I think it's just a matter of posturing, and we're 90 days out. Let's see, September, October, November. No, we're less than 90 days from the next election. I hate to say it. Let's see, Bob Christopher, I just now got approved for my sole proprietor PPP, just e-sign the docs. Wow. Well, I'm glad that you got it. And, I would say this, you're probably at the best timing, because there were so many questions about PUA and PPP and can I get both? Well, PUA is done, and now you got PPP. So the one thing to note is that if they extend out the unemployment and you're able to collect on that, Just note that they'll probably have some new rules and regulations, so just be mindful of that. I don't know on the Bitcoin. I'm an old-fashioned CPA. I'm not really following the Bitcoin, so I'm not sure on that. Let's see. Yes, CJ, happy birthday to God Dozer's wife and Elizabeth. Thank you, giving well wishes to Amanda. Michelle Clark, just received my PPP funds, and I think I want to return the funds so that I can collect unemployment. Got the loan from Cabbage. Is it possible at this point to return it? Contact Cabbage from the standpoint of the unemployment. Remember, PUA is run out. If they extend it, it's going to be under potentially a different program. Really, at the end of the day, if you are self-employed, I'm gonna guess that you are. If you are self-employed, you might consider the dollar amount and is it going to make sense? So you might wait to return it, is my point. Now, if your state unemployment is good, I follow what you're saying on that, but I would check with your state. So if you are confident that you won't qualify for unemployment if you got the PPP in the state you're in, because it seems to be different state to state, then my understanding is really what Cabbage is going to want you to do is hand in a forgiveness application. Here's your loan amount. You'll show none forgiven, and then you'll have to pay it back there. Cabbage Bay, in essence, have to charge you the 1% interest from the time of disbursement to the time of repayment. That might really be how it goes. God Dozer, you're right. PPP is not income. I feel like because it's not income, then it shouldn't inhibit you getting PPP. Some of the states are indicating that. So, Marissa, thank you for the well wishes. And Gordon, Gene McIntyre, how are you? Let's see. Greg, hello. Dawn, self-employed. Can I get EIDL and unemployment because my business is 50% lower than Schedule C from 19? Yes, the EIDL is not contingent on actually even having your income down. The EIDL is just based on really your gross and your expenses, and if they feel that you're a viable business, but it does not affect the unemployment at all. Not the grant portion, even though it's no longer available. But the EIDL is just a regular old loan when it comes down to it. So that's why there's no effect to the unemployment. All right, we got someone on from Hawaii. Aloha. Let's see. And oh goodness. All right. Well, I just did a huge jump here, and I'm seeing that I better move a lot quicker here. All right, it did a jump, so let me get to back where I was. Let's see. 406 memories. I heard that there's going to be a full 10,000 EIDL advance possibly. What would that effect be on the PPP forgiveness? I got 5,000 on the PPP and 10,000 on the EIDL. Would the 5,000 PPP have to be paid back? Yeah, I know that there's talk of it, and I know that there's some that are kind of interpreting the legislation that's being proposed as that the 10,000 would get paid out. I really think it's just going to be replenished, and if so, it'll be 1,000 per employee, 10,000 max. I really feel strongly, my own opinion, it's not going to go back to the 10. But yes, whatever you get on the EIDL advance, it will directly affect the PPP forgiveness. So if you got 5,000 of PPP, 10,000 of EIDL, now if that's the loan, there's no effect. But if you got 10,000 EIDL advance, then none of your PPP would be forgiven, and you would have to pay it all back. So you are on point there. And let's see, Mary Cooper, happy Monday to you. Steve Gherkin, Steve Gherkin, Highland Beach Realty, hello. Blue Line, good to see you again. Tony, and let's see, Elizabeth, and let's see. Yes, thank you, Cindy knows we got many plates spinning. Let's see, Michelle Clark. I'm I'm independent contractor. Can't find any guidance on how to actually pay myself. PPP is $25.33. I bill clients $350 a day. I pay myself the normal way. I use the funds in 7 days. So I have a video on it. If you go to my playlist, that is the PPP forgiveness for self-employed. How does a self-employed pay themselves? Really, you don't have to. It's just a calculation. Now, I'll tell you this. Someone commented or sent an email that their bank is requiring them to show that they paid themselves as an independent contractor. So I don't know how to not insult the bank, so I'm not going to. And so here's the thing. You basically take your Schedule C, you're going to do the 24-week option on the forgiveness application, which is listing covered period begins the date of disbursement, covered period ends plus 24 weeks. That's how you indicate that you're doing the 24-week option. And then you take Schedule C, line 31, that's for 2019, divided by 12 times 2.5. There's your forgiveness. You're done. What they want to see is the Schedule C. Now, if you have a bank, then it's just showing that you paid it out to yourself, which is just ridiculous because the self-employed has no separation from their business. Everything can just be in one account. There's no requirement to have a separate account. So unless your bank's just going dodo on you, it's really just a calculation. If you do have a separate account, you want to totally play it safe, which I'm not even recommending. You'll not even see this in any of my videos, but just since you'd asked, if you have a separate account and you have some methodology when you're pulling money out, but I don't think it's going to be required and shouldn't be required at all. So, all right, JJ already confirmed buying more yellow shorts with his 1200 stimulus check. Hey, I've got the yellow shirt on today. I'm loving it. Amanda and I made a little TikTok, which I'm never on TikTok, but we got a wild hair and we did a TikTok because we realized there were no tax deadlines, at least not in my practice. Maybe in Mike Fisher's practice, but not in my practice. Mike Fisher, fellow CPA out of California. But anyway, so we did a little funny dance to some new song. I can't remember. It's a Black Eyed Peas song. But anyways, go check out TikTok. And I'm on social media everywhere. We have a word of the day that's an encourager. So every day I know that with Flying Colors and Coach's Pit Barbecue, a lot of times they'll share it. Crazy Country Barbecue does as well. But we do a word of the day, CSRs on our social media a lot as well. So, all right, let's see. James Leggett, good to see you again. Appreciate you coming on. AMC 2828, when will banks accept the EZ forgiveness app? They should start accepting them now because the portal opened today. Might wait a week or so. Blue Line, I need some CPA advice. I have a client who is nickel and diming my fee for the corp return and negotiating a 50% discount. The client is needy and micromanager. What would JJ do? WWJD. So, Blue Line, you know what? You're like me. You've done a good job. You worked hard. You worked extra. You know all the time and effort that you put into that is the same as everybody else. And I think that the way I would do it is I wouldn't go down to a 50% discount, but I would say, well, what do you think this is worth to you? Because I'm telling you it's worth this. What is it worth to you? Okay. And if they don't give you a price that you can negotiate on, if you've already extended it, okay, and it's due September 15th, I'd say, well, I'm not gonna be able to do it for that. Here's your work papers, or here's your financials, or whatever the case is. And so I'm gonna go ahead and withdraw. That's really kind of how I would go if this was somebody that's already been causing me a lot of problems. I've already seen the writing on the wall. And or absolutely would do this one, no matter what. Even if for some reason I didn't have the heart to do it, or I felt like, it's too close to September 15th, or whatever the case is. But here's what I would absolutely do. I wouldn't go to 50%, meet them in the middle. I wouldn't even say a word about it. Doesn't matter what anybody thinks about this. I wouldn't say a word about it. The client has fired themselves. What you're gonna do is wrap up the engagement, collect the check. I wouldn't e-file it, of course, until they pay. Wait for the check to clear, wait an extra week or two, and then send a letter of engagement and have a cold iced tea or an adult beverage, whatever you prefer, and enjoy that email going out. And here's what I do when I let go of a client, no joke. And my professional liability insurance says this. It's a zero communication after that point unless by writing snail mail from them, period. So I email them and snail mail them and mail certified the letter of withdrawal. And in the letter of withdrawal, blue line, you can send me an email. I'll send you a copy of what I do. But I list out what their next due date is. I tell them there's going to be penalties if they don't file. I tell them they got to communicate with their own accountant. I'll be unable to communicate with their new accountant. I block their email. I instruct the staff to not even take a message, just to tell them we're not able to take a message. I prepare everybody that they may be rude, whatever. But at the same time, the liability starts second one once you let them go, meaning if they come back and they want something else or they have questions, now that's where the liability can start with you. So it just has to be like immediate, 100%, and I'll put in there that any response has to be in writing, any request in writing. We have 5 to 7 days to reply. Of course, we return all the documents. And I just, for lack of a better word, I just burn the bridge. That's it. That's all there is to it. And then if there's any clients that know that client, if there's any clients that referred that client, depending on your relationship, you can either call those individuals, just say, hey, I just want to let you know it didn't work out and I withdrew services from X. Now, I'll tell you this, there's been times I let go of hundreds of clients at one time. And I would then send an email to all the clients that I retained. And I said, hey, you may be hearing that I withdrew from clients. And the reason why is they're not you. I enjoy working with you. You're the perfect client for me. So I just wanted to say thank you for being my client. And I love being your, accountant. So anyways, however you go about it, even if you don't do any of that stuff, fire them, enjoy it, let your staff know that you did it, let them enjoy it, but then be done, be done, be done, be done, be done, be done, because those are the ones that are going to come back and crawl, and no way, Jose, that are you ever going to take them back. But fire them. Do yourself a favor and fire them, because you're going to have another client walk in tomorrow, or the clients that you've had to turn away. You're going to be able to work with them. You got plenty of PPP work coming up. There's lots going on. Don't worry about the revenue. Fire them. Okay. All right. So let's see. Patty B and let's see. Elizabeth, dump them. Boom. That's right, Elizabeth. And we got Derek, another CPA EA here. Thank you. Fun. This year sucks. No doubt. Derek, thanks for joining us. Really appreciate that. And what's the email for the Zoom again? I think Amanda put it in there. I see it. Benjamin, if possible, explain how the payroll credit will work and benefit employers and employees. Thank you. So if you are talking about the payroll tax credits that came out of the CARES Act or the Coronavirus Taxpayer Relief Act, I do have a playlist for that, but I'm going to guess you're talking about the one that's in the news right now, the payroll, whatever it is. So it's not a cut and it's not a credit. The way it is right now is that it's just a delay and it only helps the employee. And what it is that the Social Security and Medicare wouldn't be withheld, which puts 7.65% back in the pocket of the employee, which none of this is in play. I know that the president put it into an executive order, but I don't consider it in play until the IRS says, here's how it's going to work and the effective date. So we need to wait on the IRS on this one. But in essence, it doesn't help the employer in the sense that they're still paying the full wage. So if someone makes $15 an hour, they're still paying $15 an hour. There's just not tax withheld to the employee, so the employee has some more take home. I think the issue there for me is that the tax that's not withheld, it does have to get paid later by the employee, and that can start to add up quickly and snowball. And now all of a sudden we're down the road. Well, what if the employer isn't able to keep that employee left, or the employee can't even afford to pay it back? Then we have issues there. So at the end of the day, I think that the payroll tax credit, cut, delay, the president put into play, I know he's trying to help, and I think he's trying to help where he can. And the reason I'm saying that, not saying he's a nice guy or not a nice guy, there's only so much that a president can do. This is one of the things that he felt like he could do. But I think it'll get wiped away when the stimulus actually comes out. I think that they'll all negotiate and agree that that will go away. I'd be surprised if it actually sticks unless there's no stimulus at all. So, all right, so let's see. Yes, Derek, yeah, let your clients know that unemployment's taxable, absolutely, and agreeing on the 400. Let's see, yeah, and then on the run in Texas, I don't see that what Trump put into play. I don't see yet how it helps the self-employed. Maybe I missed something. You know, right now we don't have much information. It could help the self-employed, but it would only help them massively, temporarily, and only on their estimated tax payments, where maybe third quarter they don't have to pay in as much because there's a delay in the employee portion, or half of the self-employment tax that would get maybe delayed and paid into next year. So every little bit helps. I haven't seen anything though related to that. I would assume by the time we hit September 15th, we'd see. Now, if you are talking about and make sure everybody's aware, there are tax credits that came out in early March that help the self-employed. It's the sick leave credit and the expanded Family Medical Leave Act credit, which is if you have COVID, caring for someone with COVID or quarantine, or have kids at home, what are you, right? Everybody's getting ready to have this. I mean, if you have kiddos, right? But if you have kids home because school's closed or the virtual, there's some credits that are out there. And I'm surprised the IRS hasn't further clarified who's going to qualify for these expanded Family Medical Leave Act tax credits. Point is those help the self-employed. The employee retention credit doesn't apply to the self-employed because it's only on wages. And if you got PPP, you don't get the employee retention credit. Coach's Pit Barbecue, what's up? Look forward to seeing you here in a little bit. Coach's Pit Barbecue is a part of this group that we're working with for 12 weeks. Thanks for the opportunity. Coach's Pit Barbecue, and we got Wayne on with us as well. All right, and let's see, and Charlotte, and let's see, Clay, let's see, Tom, self-employed receiving unemployment, do I stop to use PPP loan I received? So you need to check with your state, Tom. My thought process is it depends on the state. PPP is not income. I think at most it would cause you to not be able to collect on unemployment for 8 weeks, since that's the original intent of PPP. However, check with your state to see what effect there is. If you're answering the questions every week, if they're asking if you're getting any kind of aid related to the pandemic. But at the end of the day, it's not income. So I don't really have a good answer for you, but I will tell you this. I have a playlist with frequently asked questions, my own FAQs, and a playlist that you'll see on the just regular old PPP. And I've got several videos, and you'll see real big PPP and PUA, give you a little bit more direction on that. But again, it's kind of state for state. Roman, who are you voting for? Well, I'll tell you this, the jury's out, quite frankly, because I'm going to vote for who's actually taking action and getting stimulus out there and not dragging their feet on this thing. Let's see. 520. All right. Let me see here. Running tax credits for vacation and hotels. The president was talking about something related to that. I don't think any things come to light on that. Denisha, thank you so much, and thanks for well wishes to Amanda. Edgar, PPP based on gross income would be better. Yeah, absolutely. JJ, do you think we can't get the rest of the 10K grant? I do think that is the case, Samir. And Snowbird Bob, what's up, what's up? We got Ruben. Let's see, Fred, what if a client took a loan against a life insurance policy for the business and got an EIDL loan for $150? Could they repay the business loan with their insurance policy with EIDL proceeds? And I'm going to say no on that, Fred. Love the thinking. I mean, that's what's great about having a life insurance policy that you can loan against. But the reason is that the EIDL does make it clear it can't pay off any kind of loan in any kind of lump sum. So I think that would fall under that, but I appreciate the question. Kathleen, hey JJ, quick questions. I took EIDL for $8,000 less than what was approved. I could use that other $8,000. What's the best way to try and get the rest of the money? So when you got the loan, you have a loan number. So call the SBA with your loan number, and just tell them that you'd like to be able to go ahead and access the remainder of that. My understanding is you have 30 days to potentially do that. So Brent Richards, what's up? My PPP through Square has accrued just over $12 in interest. I'm fine with waiting. Yeah, no doubt. Edgar, I got PPP July 1st. When can I apply for forgiveness? I'm an Uber driver. Starting today, SBA has opened the portal, so you can open today. Use the EZ, and I've got videos that walk you through step by step on that EZ. Let's see, Snowbird Bob. And thank you, James, excuse me, James Leggett. Hopefully I'm pronouncing that. Thank you. And then I know this is all speculation. I've heard you can borrow 45% of your annual gross revenue, and you can borrow 2 times your annual gross on a new 7A loan. I have no idea. And what about the credit? Excuse me. Yeah, on that 7A, it really just kind of falls under pretty normal loan conditions. And it depends on the lender. It's an SBA approved lender, and they have standards. So I think getting an SBA loan under traditional measures is actually harder than just getting a regular old loan. So I'm not talking about going to SBA.gov. That is simple as can be. I'm talking about you go to a bank to get an SBA, 7A loan. It's harder, not easier. So anyways, it just depends on the bank, because the bank they want you to meet all their qualifications. And then, hey Coop, come say hi. I'm on my live, everybody. If you haven't met Coop, this Cooper, my son. First and foremost, I'll introduce him as the newest addition to my CPA practice. He's going into his senior year of high school, and soon to be going to college, of course, but hopefully pitching somewhere.
Yep.
Got a new shirt yesterday. We did not use PPP funds or EIDL funds to buy it. Thanks for saying hi. Okay, Lisa, in applying for the 8-week or 24-week, do we need to stretch out payments of 8 weeks for full forgiveness? P.S. We are an LLC partnership with no employees. I think for you the answer is no, because you're just a calculation with the owner, no employees. It's just a calculation for you. So if I'm you, I'd fill out that easy application. Do choose the 24-week option by showing your disbursement date plus 24 weeks. That's how you indicate to them you're doing the 24-week option, and then go ahead and get your forgiveness in. Really, for the partner in your circumstances, the self-employed, there is no waiting at all, no stretching required on that. Let's see. Yeah, in Roman, they're asking for a business EIN. And after I said I was an independent contractor. So hopefully you'll be able to get some in the next round. Paul, when the new PPP is out, do I need to have already filed the forgiveness on my first PPP loan? I don't know for sure, but I'm going to say I don't think that could be a requirement of it, because the backlog and people needing the money, needing it now. So good thought, but I really don't think we will have had to file for forgiveness, because the other part is there might be some that are still in their covered period. So I don't think that'll be the case, but that's a great question. Let's see, Paul. Okay, yeah. And then, yep, I'm waiting, filing full forgiveness for the exact reason. I love it. CSR, whose birthday is tomorrow, as well as Goddozer's wife today, and Rob's today. So happy birthday to everybody if you just joined us. We got 114 and 91 thumbs up. What a great ratio. Thank you so much for that. I think plenty of my family of members of Congress are going to get auto forgiveness under a set amount. Yeah, I only got the 4,500. Gotcha. Karen, thank you. Snowbird, what's your opinion? Let's see. Okay, we talked about that. CJ, hey JJ, at the end of a 2019 episode that aired on Judge Jerry last week, he said, "You've never seen me quite like this." Oh, I love it. You know, Amanda gets full credit. There's a song by Kid Rock, and it's "You've Never Met a Mofo Quite Like Me." And anyway, so we had gone to a Kid Rock concert. We went to another Kid Rock concert a week later, and when we were getting ready to go shoot these videos back in 2018, we started shooting videos in May of 2018. That was one of the things she said, you know, hey, you should end every video with that. So I love that. Let's see, Jenny Sample, you're incredibly awesome. Oh, thank you. I got so much help thanks to your incredibly informative videos. Well, thank you for that, Jenny. I was thinking you were answering a question. Thank you for that. Carol, is it too late to get on board for PUA? I believe so, but you know as well as I do, Carol, I mean, we want to get to the state and see if that's actually the case. And so I would say apply and see what happens. Because we do know that the PUA ended at the 600, but then PUA does kick in essence, to allow the states to pay another 13 weeks beyond what they normally pay. Even though it's not the 600 bucks, it's still paying on that. Paul, thanks for all you do when the new PPP. Okay, should have, let's see. And oh, we got Tony. What's up, Tony? Good to see you. So good to see you. Let's see, Derek just got this from a client. Let's see, are there any advantages to vehicle versus leases as deductible expense if a vehicle is used for transporting and merchandise? So with a lease, you get to deduct the payment. If you buy it, you get to deduct the car. If it's under 6,000 pounds, you get to deduct basically the first 18 grand under the bonus. If it's an SUV, you can bonus the whole thing up to the business percentage of usage. So my rule of thumb is if it's over 6,000 pounds, you're going to want to buy it through the business. If it's under 6,000 pounds and it's going to be a cost over 25,000, buy it through the business, do the bonus. I don't really like leases in general unless you know how to work a lease. So I've got a video, I've got a playlist all about auto deductions. I've got a playlist. It's from back in the day. It's probably before I had a mic, but the information's still good. Talking about a lot of these issues, especially related to the lease and even how to do a lease. Like, how do you get a good lease? Because I love leases for me because I win every single time getting a lease there. Oh my gosh, Valerie, we're back to where Trump is interrupting my lives. I don't know if you all remember, Valerie probably does. There was a period of time, every time we went live, the president went live soon after that. Let's see. Running Texas. For sole proprietor, self-employed, as far as health insurance is concerned, how can you best structure things so that you can pay your health insurance premiums and out-of-pockets pre-tax? So when you're self-employed on Schedule 1, you get to deduct your health insurance premiums there. Has nothing to do with Schedule A, which can get phased out, of course. So if you're self-employed, you deduct it there, and then you can put money into a health savings account. So if you have an HSA with a high deductible plan, the money goes into that HSA, and then you use it for the medical expenses. Oh goodness, it's 5:30.
Yes, and we have to get ready, so.
Okay, all right, I think we're good here. Marissa, thank you so much for that. Let's see, Gina, good, didn't blow away. All right, good, all good now, all clear. I appreciate you letting us know too. Oh wow, a burb in Chicago. And Charlotte, got to run. See you in 4 for the 12 week of JJ My CPA. I love it. Matthew, hi JJ, I'm self-employed. I need to write myself a check for the owner comp. I did a video on this, but no, you just do the calculation and put in the forgiveness. You're not actually required to pay yourself unless your bank's going to somehow be a weasel and want you to do that. But let's see, Queen Sheba, hi JJ, question. I heard that I can reduce my takes owned by creating a holding company. Oh, reduce your taxes owned by creating a holding company. The only way you reduce taxes is if you have business expenses. So if you have a business, I recommend you set up a company. Holding companies can start to leak over into special kind of taxes. So I don't like the word holding company at all. That's kind of dating myself a little bit. But I am a fan of, if you have a business, you put it in an LLC, tax it either as a sole proprietor, a partnership, an S Corp, or a C Corp. But it's the actual having business expenses that allows you to reduce down the taxes. So Spring Hill Homes, I received my PPP in July of an LLC, and I'm a realtor. Maybe I missed your question on that. Let's see. Derek, Vegas, baby Vegas. I love it. Bob Lewis, how much do you charge for the PPP forgiveness app? Well, I'm only helping my current clients with it because I think there's a lot of liability. I do have a friend. That sounded funny, right? Well, I've got a friend. But I've got a friend, Justin McAuliffe, CPA Enterprises, and he is preparing the loan forgiveness applications. We're in the process of kind of doing a streamline, so if people want help with that, they'll be able to just go to my website, click on a link, and go find him. But if you want to find him now, Justin McAuliffe, CPA Enterprises, tell him that JJ the CPA sent you. Let's see. Lost my Bitcoin to an unstoppable domain and I trusted with my keys. He took boot. Okay, that must be something else. Devong, please let me know any way to receive the 10 grant. They've run out, so there's not really anything you can do at this point. Sorry about that. Edgar, I'm an industry CPA with a little tax experience. Love to have fellow CPA. I want to start my own practice. Should I start with bookkeeping? Yes. But also start with individual tax returns. Start with doing individual tax returns and then don't do payroll. Don't do it. Don't do it. Don't do it. Don't do it. You'll make no money. What you want to do is have, pick a online service that you like and send them there. And then all you're doing is dealing with the aftermath, because the second something goes wrong, they got to write a letter and there's blah, blah. Don't do payroll. Bookkeeping, yes, but set up a system and only do it that way. You tell them I need this, this, and this, and I need it by this due date. Don't try and, well, for this client to do this client to do this. Try and set up a system. Clients will appreciate it in the long run. I'd probably, do a flat fee. Don't do it by the hour. Some months you'll spend more time, some less. Typically what I told clients is, here's what I'm going to charge you for the month. But after 90 days, we're going to reevaluate. But I wouldn't go from here to here. I'd pick a price. And then don't do any of the bookkeeping until you're paid. Period, the end, period, the end, period, the end, period, the end. As in, you come up with your flat fee. And what I tell clients is, when you send me your documents, that's when you send me payment. And if like, well, I don't pay people until they do the work. It's like, well, the work's going to be done pretty quick. And so I don't do the work until I get paid. And if somebody decides they're going to go somewhere else for that, thank the good Lord that they left. Thank goodness that that client didn't become a client of yours. But I would do individual tax prep, okay? Pretty easy. An inexpensive but high-powered program is Drake, like the rapper, Drake. About a $1,500 investment, which includes everything. I don't know if they have an individual one, but really good review on that. But I would do bookkeeping and individual. And then as you get comfortable, I would just do a certain kind of business. I would recommend S Corp and partnership only. Don't do C Corps. Okay, C Corps get into a whole new realm. Don't do C Corps. I just told you the secret to my entire practice that my grandfather told me, Omar Abbott Slater. Okay, time to zoom out. S. Phillips, yes, I really appreciate that. Tacos tomorrow. Goodness, I'm sorry if I missed your question. We will be going live on Friday at 4 p.m. And if I missed your question, I apologize. It just popped down to the end. But everybody have a great night. So let's see, everybody here, we got Edgar and Derek and JMA and Bob Lewis. And Devang and Cindy, Pedal Spin Studio. Derek, great to have you on. Appreciate all the questions. Elizabeth Hannon, And let's see, Monkey Knot, good luck with the Bitcoin. CSR, happy birthday. Enjoy your tomorrow. Dawn Fried, howdy, howdy. Diane B, hi JJ and Amanda, trying to fashionably be late today. Well, it's good to see you. Thank you so much for coming on. Amanda's not feeling well today, so she's not on. Let's see. Yes, Carol, I'm loving it, what you had to say there. Brian, Blue Line, good luck. Let me know if you need any further backup. Let me know. Vareska, what is the last day to apply for forgiveness? It's 10 months after the end of your covered period. So 24 weeks if that's what you choose, plus 10 months, believe it or not. Rob, happy birthday. Thank you so much. Brian, and let's see, Coach's Pit Barbecue, see you here in a little bit. Valerie, Melinda T. Matthew, what's going on? Matthew Conrad, hope you are doing well. Glad you're taking a break. Good to see you, my friend. Thank you for jumping on. Let's see, the Code Jockey, thank you. S. Phillips, Card Shop Reality, LUD, and Carol, of course, and Surah J, California A, sole proprietor, not applied for anything yet. Am I too late? Oh, I hate to say it. Yes to PUA, yes to PPP, but you can apply for the EIDL. Go to sba.gov, click on the yellow strip at the top. Run in Texas, great to have you on today. Thank you so much. Hope to have you back. Everybody back. Mariano Miranda, thank you so much. I really appreciate you, your comment. And then we've got Paul Buckle Jr. How you doing? See you Friday. Stacy, great to see you. Love Drake, yes. And let's see, Stacy, Jean, Gina, Rob, Fred, Mike Fisher, have a great rest of the week. Thank you, Mike. I will. Carol. All right. Can you please play some Beyonce music in your intro instead of Jay-Z? I love it. Well, you know, I love that you say that, but just in case you all didn't know, in my intro, that's actually my song. You can find it on iTunes. Just go and search JJ the CPA on iTunes. Of course, I have a podcast, but that's a song that I did with Masterminds 2009. And Daddy Cool Records is who that's with, but it's JJ the CPA, straight up JJ the CPA. So I'll take it as a huge compliment on the Jay-Z. Valerie, thank you so much. All right, well, I'm out of here. Y'all have a great rest of your week. As soon as we know more, I'll be coming out with more. Thanks for all the support. I love you all so much. And we'll be talking to you soon. Thank you, Tiberius and Patty B and CSR. Thank you all so much. Happy birthday, Rob. Let's see. Michelle, thank you so much for that. I really appreciate that. My 25 years of practice and teaching, I've never seen anybody like it. Wow, that means a lot. Well, I really, really appreciate that. I'm glad I got to see that. You made my night. You made my week. Thanks for tuning in. All right, CSR, enjoy your birthday tomorrow. Rob, enjoy it today. And God's Dozer, again, tell your wife happy birthday. And we will be talking to you all soon. All right, thank you so much. Thank you, Tony. All right, we'll see y'all.